A lovely Friday morning it is, and welcome to the Lusaka Star Radio Magazine program, a program which discusses issues affecting our communities, and I'm your presenter, Godwin Lungu. You, our dear listeners, you'll be coming through later on 0211 29 34 35. That's 0211 29 34 35, or better still, text us on 0965 830293. That's 0965 830293, the number for your text and messages. You can as well come through via our Unza Radio Facebook page. Like the page, you find that update status, comment on it, and of course we'll be able to read your comments. This morning on the Lusaka Star, we are discussing the presidential speech and other national matters. And to help me discuss the topic is the Democratic Party member, Mr. Lazarous Simukoko. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. Godwin, and good morning to our listeners. It's always good to be here.
On Monday, the Republican President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, addressed the nation on various issues. How would you describe his address?
The address made by the president was as many speeches which he has made before, Mr. Godwin. Because when the president started making such kind of a speech, he didn't address any of the issues which Zambia is grappling with at this particular moment. When the president came forward and began to address the nation, he didn't touch on the part of employing the young people, employing the youth that we are having in this country, which is not even part of his mandate as a president, because one, he has failed to employ the young people which he promised jobs. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, the president was addressing the nation like any other political party member, as though he's not even the president. Because one, when you are a president, you are supposed to be one, careful with the language you use as a president. Second, you are supposed to know how you are coming out to the public, if that can affect the public or the people that you are leading. Because one, a president shouldn't be addressing individuals. It is not his duty or mandate to do so. One, the president needs to begin addressing the issues that are way much advanced in the nation than the way he was discussing people like Rafael Nakachinda, discussing other people within, who are in short his opponents when it comes to the political arena, which is not supposed to be the case, Mr. Godwin. Again, the president was expected to begin taking certain actions on various ministers or to address such kind of individuals instead of the people he was addressing. He defended the Minister of Foreign Affairs when he went there over the issue of, those were just calendars which were put in the briefcase and the like. And further, he said, provided there is anyone who has evidence, they should provide that evidence so that the minister can take to caution. Now, that is not how the country is supposed to be run. What you need to know, Mr. Godwin, is the power isn't vested in the people of Zambia to begin looking for evidence. It is the president who is supposed to assist the institution that fights corruption, such as the Anti-Corruption Commission, and also the Transparency International Zambia, and many institutional legal institutions that are mandated to do so. Thereafter, the president was supposed to relieve certain ministers who are questioned, or who have questioned characters, so that one, the institutions investigate them freely. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, it is so sad again that in the country like Zambia, the minister of the president, the ministers of this government are now forcing individuals to be taking alcohol. Even the minister, Mr. Godwin, when such kind of an event transpired, he said, "Tienku police." When I was watching that, what I was praying to God was, how I wish I was the one in the position of that young man who was there. Because if I was the one, I would have engaged the minister, through spoken word to say which law is he using. But Godwin muno mwetiriri ni Lusaka. Ine pena ngo nabadwa napeza badadzi banga na mami banga basebenza. Bamami banga na badadzi banga ngati basebenza. Siningaende sibanga bwiro ni gwira ine. Ngati baba kwebaliri. Irrespective of the situation which those parents were doing, the issue is you can't take the wrongs of the parents and place them on children. In fact, it is in the country like Zambia. Kubwera kuri kachazo ba Godwin. Banambo ipanga nishi bakaunda bakaliko. Bakaunda nishi bakaliko. I expected the minister to go there and begin telling that old woman and saying,
obviously we'll get to the minister.
Yes,
for now, let's stick to
the presidential
speech. Then later, obviously, as we begin to look at other national matters, we'll get back to the minister.
So now, getting back to the presidential speech, Mr. Godwin, the president didn't address the issues or real issues or problems which the country is facing. The president didn't explain. I expected the president to come. The day I heard that the president is coming to address the nation, then I was like, yeah, indeed, maybe there will be good things which will come out. I expected him at least to come forward and begin explaining his economical strategy, which is going to use to revamp the economy. I expected the president to come forward and say, okay, since we gave the mining tax holidays, tax exemptions, instead of giving the Zambians, I expected him to come forward and say, that will no longer continue from such and such a period. What happens, Mr. Godwin, when you have given these mining companies a tax holiday or tax exemptions? They are going to tell you to say, you are going to begin paying your taxes, maybe when you begin producing more than 200 metric tons. Now, what usually happens in these mining companies, Mr. Godwin, is this. The mining company, when it realizes to say, if we surpass or we begin producing our copper of more than 1,000 or let's say 2,000 metric tons, we are going to begin paying tax. As a result, they are going to be ending. They are going to be ending on 1,900 metric tons so that they don't begin paying the taxes. As such now, the country becomes to be affected. The president again, whatsoever he said in that speech, for me, I will call it was him rehearsing or just telling the people to say, as a country we have got more problems, so let us continue to be in problems. As a nation, we cannot, as a government, we cannot employ you because you are incompetent. As a government, we can't manage to give you what you is going to begin inviting to say, begin defending the things that we are doing. Begin defending this and that. The truth is, the ordinary citizens that we have in this country are going to be facing the reality. Now, no matter what happens, Mr. Godwin, the president can come forward and say, tell the people that no, this is happening because of that. The truth of the matter is, the people of Zambia are going to be feeling the inch of the things they are lying about. So, this government entered the government through lies, and you know that, Mr. Godwin. Apart from that, this government made the promises that they to give fake promises, and later on they just go like that, as if Menshamu Musunga, Babana Tondolo. Because one, what made the president to address the nation? It was the pressure which was coming from the opposition leaders, who said the president was promising to say, immediately I am voted in as president, I'll be making monthly appearances to the public. But when that period happened, Mr. Godwin, he addressed Papangile. The last address he made, it was about 4 months ago or 3 months ago, which is again out of what he promised the people of Zambia, even when he was in government, even when he is still in government. So that is the case. The presidential speech, which was there, the president was just telling the people to say, there are other problems which Zambia is facing, which you don't know. As such, we shall continue to live in problems. Because one, they are justifying the prices of fuel. They are justifying the increments in the prices of meal. They are justifying the increments in the prices of cooking oil. They are justifying the increments in the transport fares or transport fees which these people of Zambia are paying, which is really a bad thing for the government.
Let's come from there before we talk about the issue of fuel. Earlier in your statement, you did mention that you expected the president to take action against some of the ministers and some of the people that he is working with. And you've just cited Honorable Kakubo. Apart from Honorable Kakubo, who do you think also was supposed to be to be punished?
Not really to be punished. Mr. Godwin, a minister carries the image of the president. A minister carries the vision of the president.
Or how many people were you expecting to be fired on that particular day?
It is not firing, which I'm talking about, Mr. Godwin.
It is what then?
What the president is supposed to do is that, one, the president himself is incompetent, according to me. If the president is incompetent, Mr. Godwin, even the ministers are going to be incompetent. The members, they tell you...
So what were you supposed to do before you tell us about your Bemba proverbs?
So what the president was supposed to do is he is competent. He was supposed to begin tasking the ministers their individual tasks. Let's say, hey, per year I want to see this achievement and that achievement. I would have loved to see the president taking to task Madam Sylvia Masebo to say, by the end of this period, I want to see medicines in hospitals, further to which you are going to be fired. I would have loved to see the president telling the Minister of Local Government to say, we need to see a decrease
on the press conference.
Of course, where is the problem with that? Where is the problem with that? We are Godwin.
But of course, these ministers normally have executive meetings every after 2 weeks. So why should the president call for a press conference just to address his ministers if that's what you want? Because there is an executive meeting which comes every after 2 weeks.
The president always tells you about confidence in the investors or investor confidence. He does that. There are certain things that are done in the public to increase the investors' confidence. So you started telling the ministers what to do in the public. It doesn't matter whether public or not.
Then what is the whole purpose of executive meetings? Because we are normally updated.
Transparency.
We are normally updated with what comes out from the cabinet. Mostly those things that are supposed to be known to the public, they are normally published.
No, Mr. Godwin. Governance isn't run like the way we run a business. Governance is different and separate.
Now, you are coming from the opposite.
You are asking me questions, Mr. Godwin.
Yes.
So when you ask me a question, you give me time to explain. Because you ask me a question, you are cutting me again before I explain the actual
because I want clarity. I want clarity.
Yes, so the clarity can't be made.
You are coming from
the clarity can't be made, Mr. Godwin, if you don't give me time. So, ask your question, give me time, I explain it.
The question still stands. When there are executive meetings, why should the president begin tasking his ministers using a press conference?
Now, here is the issue, Mr. Godwin. I will tell you, regardless the security of the nation, let us come to that angle. Immediately the president tasks the Home Affairs Minister to say, I want to see the decrease in the number of people who are involved in these offenses. Let's say kidnapping, beating up people in societies and all that. Immediately he says that to the public, and the public is watching. Those the would-be offenders are going to be taking responsibility over what they are supposed to do and the action that they are supposed to do. And as that, it is going to raise awareness in that public which he is addressing, or to that public which he is addressing. Apart from that, when he makes all those directives, Mr. Godwin, he makes a directive to this minister. Those people who had the plan, even maybe to kidnap a person, those people who had the plan even to go and steal, they're going to say, no, we want to do this because the president has tasked the Minister of Home Affairs to say, we want to see a decrease. Any person is going to be arrested, is going to be charged for this and that. As such, the public will begin conducting itself in a proper fashion. That is the most important thing when it comes to addressing the people or the ministers which he's having. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, the president told you at first to say, immediately I'm sworn in at 10. By 14 hours, the quarter will appreciate. Why did he do so? He knew in his mind to say, immediately I'm voted in, there is going to be investor confidence. Investor confidence, Mr. Godwin, is just like the same soap which you are having. It's the same as ine bumo tushita muchalo, ino tuakwate. So when the president says investor confidence, there are investors who are going to begin investing in Zambia because one, the policies have changed. Because two, there are certain actions which the ministers or those investors had to say Zambia is having such kind of policies as such. We want to invest in Zambia. But if the president goes to the public and begin tasking the ministers, those investors, those people with business orientation, they are going to see, okay, Zambia is looking at having medicine in hospitals. Zambia is looking at beginning employing the people. Zambia is looking at reducing the number of street kids which it is having. As such, Mr. Godwin, those investors who come in to say, Zambia is looking to have medicine. How many medicines is Zambia producing? What kind of medicine is Zambia producing? If they discover that there is less medicine which is being produced, then those investors will come in and say, okay, in Zambia, let us begin setting up companies which will begin making medicine or producing medicines. As such, it is both going to increase the employment as well as increase the productivity which the country is supposed to be having. So, it is always important for a president to be giving individual tasks to those ministers so that it raises also confidence in the investors who are going to begin investing in Zambia, begin to pump in the dollar or the foreign currencies so that the kwacha can appreciate against various foreign currencies which Zambia uses when purchasing other commodities. So, once again, the president, for me, he did nothing in that speech. The president did nothing in everything that he was doing during that period. As such, it was just an academic exercise which he wanted to show the public to say, oh, I've now appeared to the public, which is not supposed to be the case, Mr. Godwin. One, let us look at the many challenges which Zambia is facing. Zambia today is among the countries, Mr. Godwin, with the highest unemployment rate. Mukongo, abantu baba 100 million. Let's go to Nigeria. Nigeria's got about 500 million Nigerians who are living there. Today, as we are speaking, Chabanga Panga Ndawa Godwin, if you are failing to take care of a one child which you are having, whatever the age are you going to manage? By 2026, Zambia's population is projected to be at 25 million to 26 million, Mr. Godwin. Now, the president is failing to take care of the current population that we are having. What happens population in Gayakule? Let us take the president to be the president of Nigeria, having such kind of a huge population. The question is, can he manage to make sure that all those people with such kind of a high number, their interests are all fulfilled? When he is failing to fulfill the same thing in Zambia, when the population is only between 18 million to 20 million Zambians.
So as we leave this issue, are you telling me that there is nothing that you heard from the presidential speech?
I heard something. Immediately something is being said, of course. You are going to hear it. But the question you need to ask me is, did you hear anything which is applicable in the presidential speech? Anything which is applicable? No, lo muntu alelila. Kushwa trichile ngoya alelilo oyu. Or maybe that is the main reason. Now, the president spoke. The question should be, did he say anything which is applicable to the Zambian situation? Did he say anything which is applicable? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because one, the president was supposed to make sure that the livelihood of the Zambian people is safeguarded. How? How was that supposed to be done? You are supposed to announce to the public to say, we are no longer going to be looking at monthly review. ERB wants to be looking at monthly reviews when it comes to the fuel, petrol, and diesel. As such, you are going to revert to quarterly because it will give chance for people to begin planning. I expected the president to begin addressing the nation in such a manner to say, we promised you to open Mulungush Textiles once we are voted in. Mulungush Textiles is under the process of being opened. We expected the president to begin saying, we promised you to be buying a bag of milling at 50 kwacha. We have now begun setting up the milling companies in Zambia, which are now going to be producing more milling so that the milling can be cheaper. We expected the president to begin saying, we have started setting up the companies in Zambia, which are going to be employing the unemployed youths. But if you today Monafia Godwin Padilero, mass speeches yeka. A country or governance isn't run by speeches. It's run by actions. What kind of implementable actions are you taking as a government? What kind of decisions are you making which are benefiting your people? But today, as I can tell you, the UPND government is against its people which voted for them. You can't expect the minister, because we have also said that we move away. Let me try to combine this point, Mr. Godwin. The minister of local government went there, and that minister was against the UN Convention on Human Rights. He knows that. Apart from that also, the minister also didn't follow the constitution when dealing with such issues. We don't use emotions when it comes to legal issues. We don't use emotion. The law is supposed to be blind, Mr. Godwin, irrespective of who you are and what you are doing.
Now that he has apologized, does that make sense to you?
It doesn't. After apologizing, has he removed Kachaso from those bodies of those guys? You can't. How many people in this police cells are we having who are ready to apologize?
Now, after the minister visited the area and of course made those people drink cachaso as a way of punishing them. We saw your president, Honorable Harikalaba, visiting Ngwerere Ward 22, Chikaoma area to be specific, because many people didn't know which area exactly. Remember that Ngwerere Ward 22 starts from Kasangula Road to Manchinchi Road. So the whole area there is Ngwerere Ward 22, then Pendera Road, and Ngwerere Road there, which connects to Garden Road. That's Ngwerere Ward 22. So that Chikaoma area is within Ngwerere Ward 22 in Garden Compound. We saw Honorable Harikalaba going that side. I won't talk about the visit by the MP, but because you are here as a Democratic Party member, what exactly did the president of DP went to do that side?
Mr. Godwin, you have raised 2 points here. 2 points. The other one you said, when the minister went there, he punished as a way of punishing those individuals, he made them to take cachaso. The question you need to ask yourself is it mandated for the minister to begin punishing individuals? Is there any constitutional powers which are vested in the minister to begin punishing those individuals or any other individual who has committed a crime? A minister, the law which I need to follow is the law which the minister is supposed to follow. The minister, if he sees somebody committing a crime, he is having the same responsibility that I am supposed to have to report those people to the authorized institutions which are mandated to offer punishment to such individuals. Mulalanda pali mob justice muno, at mob justice hivi. What is the main reason? People at times tend to take power in their own hands. To like, no, don't do that. Even if you catch a thief stealing, take that thief to the police. Then the police will do its job. Ba minister baya kudya. Bambo kupera bana kachas, because that is an offense according to him. The question should be, after they
is it according to him or according to the law?
Which law? Which law, Mr. Godwin says when somebody has committed a crime, the other person can bear the consequence? But Godwin, the issue is, imwenga mulipanganda.
But brewing cachaso is a crime in Zambia, right?
It can be a crime. Should the people who are living in the same home, where the same cachaso is being done, or brewing, take the offenses because there are other people who are brewing cachaso there? Then they are telling us to say, if I come at Unza, Mr. Godwin, it means my entire children are
so why have you continued to be hard on the minister, even when he has apologized?
His actions were not in line with what we expect. It doesn't matter.
Has this apology been accepted or not?
Whether accepted or not, a wrong is a wrong. Let us take into action that issue. A wrong is a wrong. The minister should know to say he is not only a minister of the UPND government, he is also a minister representing the people of Zambia. Let it be opposition or any other institution which we are having in the country. The minister should know to say his action was out of order, and for me, if I was indeed there, what I can even request that family to do is to sue the minister, because the minister made it wrong. That was a wrong move which he made.
So how do you sue someone who has apologized?
Where does it say that when you apologize, you are not supposed to sue? There is no law which says after you commit a crime, Mr. Godwin, you need to apologize, then you want to be sued.
That's why your president went there.
So that is why it doesn't matter whether the president went there or not. The issue is those people were getting a survival from that cachaso, and those people needed assistance from many stakeholders, including me, Mr. Godwin. I visited that area. I did what I can do, and I did that. The only thing is that I didn't publish. The issue is those people went there, they went to offer solutions, because that lady had children, had families who are benefiting from the same thing. So the question is was that too much? Apart from that, I expected the president to act as well, to say, the president, when he was making the address about the same youth in Dab and about the youth, Mr. Godwin, to say, he was saying that alcohol, people are taking alcohol in communities is rampant. And then his minister went ahead and began giving people alcohol, meaning the minister was against the presidential directive to say, no, there is alcohol, drug abuse in the country. The minister was out of order. And for me, if it was Mr. Sata in government, that minister was supposed to be fired right there and then, and he was supposed to face the law. The law is blind. It doesn't matter who has committed it and the person who has not committed it. The main issue of the matter is the president was supposed to take action, because those are his individual citizens. The people went there to assist. They just went there. So the president of the Democratic Party, yes, went there to assist the family. The MP for Mandevu, Mr. Shakafuswa, went there to assist the family, because this government took food away from them by making sure that they pour that kachas which they were making as a way of surviving. Umuntu aiseponde wombera angochere fintu anstiri fintu. It means that person is telling me that go and sleep with anger. We don't want you to be eaten because you don't deserve to be eaten. So the government went there in the name of Mr. Nkombo to say, okay, you are not supposed to be surviving from here. You deserve to be in the streets, because that is where maybe you belong. Because you can't be questioning a person who is living in a home, making a survival as a result of cachaso. Instead of you looking for ways of employing that person, of making alternatives for that person, you go there and begin telling them to say, we don't need this cachaso. Why have you run away? Let's go to the police. In that family, and you press it on the family members. So if my brother or my dad commits a crime, you are not supposed to abduct me. You are not supposed to come and arrest me because my dad has made a crime. My dad is my dad. His way of living is his way of living. That is why ngamwaipa yo mwana uli na uze ni mumala. Mwaipa yo mwana ufierwe ba Godwin. It's a crime. You can't say that is my child, I killed the child. You can't say so. Why? Because the human rights which that child is supposed to be enjoying, it's also the same human rights which you are supposed to be enjoying. They say, Barandashan Godden Rumi Bashan Godwin, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. It is within the rights of that minister, according to him, to take such kind of an action. It is within the minister to take such kind of a responsibility, according to him. For him, he was thinking that he's doing the right thing, but he didn't follow the law. Emotion government.
Let's get to the other issue. The Republican president of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has said that his salary will actually be channeled towards the education of the orphans in the country. And we have been told that from the time he was elected, he has never gotten his salary because he wants the orphans to be educated. What do you make of this decision?
The decision of the president, again, is okay according to him. But for me, I'm going to say, look, the president is going to be out of office in 2026 when we go to vote. The issue is, what is he going to be remembered for? You know that President Edgar Lungu had to cut 20% of his salaries towards the welfare of the people of Zambia. The question is, are the people benefiting as a result of that 20%? Up to now, they are not. They are not doing so. Including the president, Zambia has vast resources. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, what we need to know to say, the president, even if he forfeits his salary, it will be a drop in the ocean. It will have no any impact.
So it's better you continue getting it.
Listen. I'm not saying that he should continue making it or getting it. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't continue getting it. What I'm telling you is, let him come up with solutions to economical problems which this country is facing. But Godwin, I would have loved the president to say, okay, as a result of me getting into office, the unemployment rate, which is currently at 78.6% in Zambia, is going to reduce to 20%, because for me as the president, I have managed to begin building companies which are going to begin employing you. For me as a president, I have managed to reduce the fuel, the petrol, the diesel, which you, the people of Zambia, are going to be getting at the cheapest price. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, I expected the president once again to begin looking at the issues which are being faced in the country. Because one, the IMF, the World Bank projected to say in Zambia currently, all those people who are employed, 91% are not employed to their satisfaction. In short, abantu ababomba baledanda olomo bwachira no mubwayirira. The president made an appearance on many radio stations. He was moving with Tupamela, cooking oil, trotwama tukwacha wanu kwacha tulia, saying, once I come into office, you are not going to be buying these things because things will be cheaper. Bale imaba Godwin, bale aba president ben. Baima no kwambo kumye bati. Look, the mitengo zidula every week. I don't know if you have that clip, you can even play it. Mitengo zidula. Manje bantu wazasurvive a branch mu manyumba. Vikwati vambo onongeka. He was doing all that. The question should be, is the president now telling us to say vikwati vasionongeka mu manyumba because the mitengo za vintu za cheaper? Because today I can tell you, Mr. Godwin, there is no any commodity or any good or service which is cheaper than the way the president found it. The construction of roads in this country have increased more than the way they increased. The president criticized the amount of money that was spent on Lusaka and Dollar Dual Carriageway. Said the price was enormous, or it was beyond the actual price. The president criticized the amount the government was spending on procuring the fertilizers to say it was too expensive. Abalume baba minister, baba bashita procure, baba pera contract, bashite fertilizer pamutengo wa dula more than the way it was. At yo, it is still okay. Zambia, as we are living at this particular moment, Mr. Godwin, one, the president knows it to say, he promised the people of Zambia to say they are going to begin buying the bag of mini meal at 50 kwacha per 25 kg. He promised the people of Zambia to say you are going to begin buying cooking oil at the cheapest price. When President Edgar Lungu, in his last tenure, realized to say cooking oil has started increasing, what did he do? He had to cut the VAT. He had to cut all the taxes that are paid on border, the duty fees and everything. He had to cut all that. As such, the prices of cooking oil reduced. The government comes in and re-adds that, making the prices of cooking oil increasing further, which is a bad thing. Again, look what the president, what he has done to this country. Look at what he has done to this country. Tell me the good thing, Mr. Godwin, which you are going to say, indeed, but President Apamwabomba. Ni finish. He can begin to say, no, we have increased the CDF. Ni constituency nshilelo, ipokelele CDF iyo. And we need to know to say, that CDF is paid every year. The question should be, ni mushani tuli muno wa Godwin. Which month is this? Then the question should be, iyenga yapwe, ama constituencies that still receive CDF. Nishabala ya CDF yoni banani. Will I be wrong to come here again to begin telling you to say, but government ban wamigera CDF? I won't, because one, the CDF is made to be given to the people of Zambia every year. The other thing which is there, Mr. Godwin, the president's speech to me didn't mean to address the challenges which the people of Zambia are facing. Tulakuma issues are to address ababantu aba. According to them, ama issues are yonsa over President Balezingini. I don't want to begin mentioning certain issues because one, there are certain issues that are in court at this moment, so I can be cited by the court. Apart from that also, the president should be able to know to say, all the issues he addressed were not in benefit of the people of Zambia.
Let's get to look at one of the reasons why up to now, as people haven't started receiving the CDF fund as in empowerment form, those that were told to form cooperatives. So far, by next week we should be having members of parliament, obviously coming to explain why the delay, because what has been going on in all the constituencies so far is orientations on how to use this CDF money before people begin to receive for their various projects. Is it a good or a bad idea to orient people before you give them?
It is wrong because the government isn't forecasting. If the president knew to say for people in these various constituencies to begin receiving this money, there must be orientations, then I would have advised them to stick to the 1.6 million which was paid during that period when the PF
which was coming in December every year, and not all the constituencies used to receive at the same time.
No. Again, that is where we miss it, Mr. Godwin. Irrespective of this money arriving in constituencies in December, there are people who are going to the Ministry of Youth and Sports in January, February, March, April, and all the months that we have in a year. They are getting the empowerment funds from there. There are people who are going to the Ministry of Gender to go and get the empowerment from there. Almost every month, Mr. Godwin. Meaning, irrespective of the people who went further to go to the, even if they didn't receive this money in time, the issue is the youth from different constituencies were benefiting through the Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Agriculture, and many ministries that we have. At this moment, Mr. Godwin, there is no any individual who is going to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Agriculture to get the empowerment. Because they have been told to say, Simungaende kujaimwe, kangati, because baba was at Mubosa ukasini zibai. You can't go there to get the empowerment because the empowerment that you are supposed to receive is within that CDF. That is why, time and again, I have come here to tell you to say, CDF hasn't been increased. It has actually been reduced because there is not any individual who is going to the ministries such as Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Gender to get the empowerment because according to them, all the money is within that CDF. Now, let us be technical a bit. Are you telling me that today as we are speaking, there are people who have gone to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to get empowerment? Absolutely not. So, provided that was the case, Mr. Godwin, the president and his government would have said, what we need to do now, we will give you the same 1.6 million, then you are going to be receiving the money from these ministries by following the same layout which was used previously. As he's doing so, the orientations would have been happening in constituencies before he decides to increase, according to him, I don't know the economics he's using, the CDF. Then, after the CDF is announced, then the people from various constituencies would have begun receiving that CDF. That is the case which was supposed to be there. However, because this government lacks forecastative measures, this government lacks the plan, this government lacks the zeal, this government lacks the actions which they are supposed to take, they do things abruptly, announce figures which they can't afford, and later on begin giving explanation why it didn't happen.
As we get to open the lines, earlier you had touched on the issue of oil, and you said the president was justifying the increment of oil. We are all aware that oil has increased due to what is going on in between Russia and Ukraine. And if the president say we are looking into what we can do, but for now we are still getting expensive oil, is that a wrong thing to do? Because it's just telling you the truth. And
are you believing the plank that what is happening between Ukraine and Russia has caused the increment in the fuel?
Is it?
Are you believing it or not?
Let me ask you this question: is it false that fuel on the international market has gone up?
It is the duty of the government to answer you. It is true. Fuel has increased
on the international market.
On the international market, fuel has increased. Now, there are measures. That is why I'm telling you to say there is no problem which exists without a solution. Every problem has a solution. Tell me one problem which has ever existed in the country and no solution has been found. Abantu balekungauka nga balunshi mukufwa mulandu wa COVID. Today the numbers have reduced because the countries have started looking for ways to solve the issue of COVID-19. There was time, Mr. Godwin, when HIV was taking the lives of the people almost on a daily basis. The number was high. Today, a person can live even up to. That is why I always tell you to say, Mr. Godwin, when we see us coming to the radio station, we appear to the public. We don't only come to politicize. We come here to offer solutions. Before I come here, I need to study the economic effects of what is happening in Kenya, what is happening in Uganda, what is happening in the Western countries. I look at the problems which Zambia is having. Go and begin researching on that to say, this problem, in which other country was it faced? Malasta discovered that there was a time when fuel increased in various countries, but there are countries which maintained the same prices until the prices of fuel at the international market reduced and they went back to normal. You need to be able to carry a research, but today, the ministers that you are having in government, they are not studying. They are not researching. So when I tell you to say, look, in Rwanda, by Yoweri Museveni, by that Toro and Tororo, those are areas within Uganda with vast land. The president said, you are going to be using these areas strategically for farming. Today in Rwanda, they are grappling with the issue of leadership. But when it comes to their economy, when it comes to their way of living, if we talk about fufu, gari, they are always there. That is why you go to Nigeria, you go to Ghana, those who eat cassava as their many food which they consume almost on a daily basis. You need to know to say their fufu and their gari in Nigeria and Ghana, tafibula, they are the cheapest among all the things you can buy. But Mirimi Zambia, it is expensive as if we don't farm our own means. As if we don't produce our own means. which is a bad thing. Irrespective of the president saying that. Inanale mona tipara bale chitibate invite bakagami. Bale bapanda kwa manu ati over to study this fuel nifi. So I was looking forward, Mr. Godwin, to the address of the president to say, maybe he's going to implement some of the positives which Rwanda has. As a result, I expected him to say, okay, and if you observe, when the president of Rwanda just came to the country, did you hear the statement he made about the tax exemptions in the mining sector? He said, only criminals, for lack of better terms, can be able to remove or give minings tax holidays and tax exemptions and tax its citizens heavily. There is that statement which is there. Immediately, there was that statement that was made. If I'm not mistaken, that was 2 weeks ago. I have the write-up which was there. I can still show it to the public. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, after he made that statement, President Kagame learned something in Zambia to say, irrespective of what you do as a government, do not place your citizens to be victims. Don't do so. Place your citizens to be the people who are supposed to be enjoying as a result of your good leadership. Now, is this government telling us to say it is good leadership to give tax holidays to the mining companies? Is this government telling us that it is good leadership to increase the prices of fuel and diesel, including petrol? Is this government again, Godwin, telling us it is a good thing? Is this government again telling us that it is a good thing now? It is a good thing now, government muno. Kula pera abantu ma fertilizer during this time? No. It is the exact opposite. This government isn't doing the best in order for it.
As we open the line, obviously, let's try to address this in 2 minutes. Then we get to accommodate our listeners who are following this program. Remember, it's as 0211-2934-35. Mr. Simukoko, the UPND are 8 months in office. They came into government at a time when the debts are maturing. For example, the $750 million which will be maturing in this year, September, obviously by 1st October. If at all we are not going to restructure that debt, then we'll need to pay that debt. We have another one in 2024. Then we have the other one in 2026, which will be paid in installments, and we'll pay half in 2026 and half in 2027. So this is the period that we have to pay these debts. Two are actually bullet payments. The one which is maturing this year and the one which is maturing in 2024. These are bullet payments. Now, you want subsidies, for example, on fuel, and the government is saying, we do not have money because we have this debt to pay. If at all we are not going to restructure this debt, then definitely we'll have to pay it. Then where will they find money to pay this debt if they continue to subsidize fuel, for example?
Mr. Godwin, I want to be a bit practical. I'm a practical person. Share my theories in. I go direct, offer a solution, then come back to the real situation. This government is telling you, but Godwin, it's like when you are home. You know that you owe your neighbor a 500 kwacha. You know that you owe your neighbor a 500 kwacha. Then, what happens is, after you do so, you realize to say, indeed, you have a 300 kwacha. But instead of giving your neighbor this 300 kwacha, you have decided to begin giving just individuals because you want to give them. So that wamiona timuna mtima wa mushe. Later on, bajawa neighbor wakabwela kumitengera vintu munyumba. Are you going to blame those neighbors? You won't. What am I trying to say? This government knew, and it knows to say there is debt which is there. The government went ahead and said, you in the mining sectors don't be given tax, don't be given us tax. That simply means, Mr. Godwin, to say, the government is telling you to say, even if you give us the tax or not, Zambia is having enough money to pay the debt. I expected the government to tell the mining companies to say, you are going to continue paying the taxes further. You are going to begin increasing the prices of these miners who are working in your companies because the copper prices at the international market have increased. That is what I expected. Now, can you justify the two where the government gives tax exemptions and tax holidays to these mining companies? Then they tell you to say, Tirina Nkongole huko. Nzakambati mushe mutu. Inenzakambati ya iswali mushe. One, they were supposed to go to mining companies. Number was that, look, the prices at the international market have increased. Since there is an increment on the international market when it comes to the prices of copper and other minerals that we are able to produce as Zambia, we are going to make sure that you increase the amount of what you are paying because you'll be making a lot of profit. I addressed it earlier to say, tax holidays and tax exemptions, vamapasa kuma businesses yangono. When these businesses are given, they tell them to say, when you begin making, let's say, 2,000 kwacha profit per month, that's when you're going to begin paying your tax. I'm taking it in a practical sense now. Now, that business which is there, Mr. Godwin, if it doesn't want to begin paying taxes, the figures it will be reporting to the Zambia Revenue Authority, it will be, we are only making up to 1,800. Irrespective of them making more than 2,000. What does that mean? They are using escape ways not to pay tax. So is the case in the mining sector. However, in the mining sector, the issue tends to be different. They tell them to say, when you begin producing, let's say 2,000 metric tons of copper, that's when you're going to begin paying tax. Now, that company again will begin saying, no, we are not producing 2,000 metric tons of copper. We are only producing 1,800. It means they are out of the bracket of the people who are supposed to begin paying tax. And that can continue for so long as they want because they are in control. That is why Kaunda, may he so rest in peace, had to put Memako. Memako was mainly in charge of accounting for the copper exports which are being made. Today, the mining companies are exporting on their own without anybody monitoring them. However, Kaunda realized to say these people can begin making a lot of money and we can be left as orphans or destitutes as our owners of the companies. Kaunda had to put Memako so that each copper which is produced, it passes through Memako. Memako accounts it. Then Memako was the official institution which was writing reports to the government to say, during this period, the company has produced so much and so much. Memako is no longer in existence. It simply means the copper that is being exported is not accounted for. That is why I'm telling you to say, irrespective of the debt which the country is having, the government has been lenient on foreigners than Zambians. The government has placed a lot of disadvantages in the businesses of the people of Zambia because one, this government has increased the production costs. This government once again has made it difficult for businesses to be thriving or surviving. That is why I told you, Mr. Godwin, to say, there are certain policies that are made specifically to benefit your people, to benefit the citizens that you are having. Have you realized at this moment to say, the president is no longer talking about, no, I'm the chief marketing officer of the country? He's no longer doing so. Because he has understood to say, naenda maningi mwa foreign trips up, but there is nothing to show. Siali ningale. Now he has given up. Now wait a minute. Let me make this point, Mr. Godwin, before we go to the callers. They are important. We appreciate. So what the president again is telling you, when I came here last time, I told you to say, the president, when he wants to market the country, he needs to identify a commodity, which he will begin explaining to the countries to say, Zambia is having a lot of maize. Zambia is having a lot of cassava. We want you to buy from us. As a result, then he is marketing what you are having. If you should market kuria, tapali. As a result, On the issue of the law, I have said there is no law which says immediately you make a crime or you become an offender, you can easily apologize and you are forgiven. There is no law which says that. If that is the case, then the government, if it goes into these police cells and tell those people to say apologize, you want to do this because you have repented, you go back to the society, everyone can do so. So as such, for me, I take that excuse from the UPND government a lame one, and it shouldn't be in that angle.
Good morning. Yes, Mr. Elvis, you can go ahead with your comments, sir.
I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Elvis. And how are you?
Timvera Petrezani.
Because of this government, the government did not promise Zambia. Yakani was informed about Godwin. Coming to the issue of Waganikom, in the constitution, ilimo law yameneika Baba Godwin kuti anyone who administers intoxicating matters or causing a human bodily harm kumuntu aelekera kuanswering kumacharges. That apology, yes, it has been accepted because those people are poor. But the poor man, you expect the Gani Combo was going to administer that intoxicating substance to community. Why are we poor people taken advantage of by these rich people? If it was you who were going to do many banamwesa ujamuntu moba, bajabantu moba, were going to have the mukambare on radio station. And the minister just apologizing. But human rights will come, but the law is to take its course. This government is a total failure. This is the biggest mistake the Zambian people have made. This government promised a lot of things, especially on the cost of living. But Simukoko, you are right. The president has not done anything to show that he is on course to amend these mistakes he's been making. These people have been targeted for corruption. But wow, no, you cannot be acting on the social media speculation. Give it a chance. The reason why the president is there to act on these issues. Let the investigating agencies investigate.
As you conclude, Mr. Elvis.
Okay. Don't delay people giving checks and balances. This government will be kicked out in 2026 because it has totally done nothing. To Pamela, the 7 to Pamela. And when we are talking at Mukamba propaganda, the biggest enemy one is not us.
Thank you very much. Your time is up, Mr. Elvis. We accommodate others as well. 0211 29 34 35. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Chikubabe, you can go ahead with your comment.
Mr. Simukoko, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Chikubabe. How are you?
Me, I'm okay. Mr. Simukoko, 2 days, but Simukoko, this is the worst government so far we ever had in this country. Starting from UNIT, MMD, PF. This is the worst. Yeah? These are the same people who doesn't understand the governance system of Simukoko, starting from the top going down. Instead of go and wait, if it is Mitch Kuwale, I take Kajato and give to the importance and signs of Gary Combo. Today, I would have not been here speaking. I would have been arrested. Let Gary Combo should be arrested. Yeah? Where's the human rights? In this country, the law should not just apply to the poor people, should also apply to rich people. And these who are in government, not a Kajoka and the family we have to the government itself told us that we as Zambians, we are going to enjoy under this new John government. But look at today, we are sleeping with hunger. We are just walking, going for work, we just walk about 5 kilometers, yenda kutito. What type of government is this? We voted for them so that they can create the environment whereby people we can able to sustain ourselves. Our businesses have been corrupt. When the kulima, the government have right. They are just embracing these so-called investors. They are caring to take the taxes. What type of government is this? As that now, the president was telling us that me, I have got the plan how I'm going to run this country. And I'm going to start the day. But today what we're hearing, that is zero. But Simukoko, this is the worst government but you put it our and in a time he said wana kuenda. But business is onongeka, ulimi wa onongeka, maisha wenzela kondela kichaji. Take them just back and go in there, fail.
Your time is up, Mr. Chikubabe.
It's very sad indeed, Simukoko, to have that governance system which we have was that now under new doom government.
Thank you very much. 0211 29 34 35 is the number. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, sir. Your name and where you are calling us from?
Mune London aba Lewis kumaku chipata compound.
Lewis Patricia ni tumfwe.
Natotela sana. Ndefo afyo kusosoko bati. Mulumendo uyu kokumulabasa. Uteka nyesa na munshire yakwe bati. Na ukwate thing sana efo ungasambira kuri wakateke wo tukwete wakainde ikirema. Baeche chibali running echipani chabo. Pamyaka eyingi sana. Chatalire ngumpa kwati kuyumukangalo mu chipani chabo kufishanya na kumakoti. Iroleche weka iwo wine iwe. Amaliaji ichipani chobe chiri pesa periachi ya kudonsa na leadership. So, tatolefwa intungurushi kwa batati. Intungurushi ilefiro kukontrole chipani chakwe. Ero iwore tontonkanya chikuti ya cha tekecha. Icharo chikuru kuchire chipani. So iwe GP ukwati okutekanya okusambirira buno bulireko ungatungulula ichipani chobe ero uyise pa national level. So nomboleso sokwe bati population ikafula muri 2026 ngatwaisa kuri economics population yeka yani kwa tolu bali uru wakutwala economy pamuru ngamwachepa mukabombe finono so ngatawakwata hopu kwate hopu lero then chaisa vika pokwe bati uleso sokwe bati yo nani unemployment rate ili high. Yes, ngatako bati pali ino nshitati kwete economy yaro walirira amaliza uchi ulofa baite mule sambirira iyo baechi barefu okwe bati bakontrol economy kuleta machito in short. So, this time, ngorela ndapalu African Safia Chalo, muteka nyesana, oeo sim 2026, mkesaria maziro. You know, instant 21st.
As you conclude, sir.
21st century, tature tontonkanya, nga mumpindi koto. Na totela mkwai.
Thank you very much. Let's pick more calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Godwin.
Pastor Mtale, you can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Yes, please. Good morning, Simukoko.
Mkwaiva Pastor Mtale badishanya bafyashi.
Tulishe wino. Simukoko, based here and the factor on the economy. You can't say that UPND has done nothing. If you see from these 9 months, we have already free education in place. There is already, there is no capitalism as used to be in the PF. Whereby if you're some land there, person can have a studio right now. But now you're enjoying your rights. Karim Kombo, yes, he did what he did that was wrong. But you can't put it on the permanent president as if he was there. No, that is wrong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pastor Mtale. So we are still picking your calls. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you, Mr. Philemon?
I'm very fine. How are you, Mr. Moderator?
Very fine. You can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Oh, thank you. Indeed, we are listening. Coming to the issue of Mr. Garin Kombo. Yes, he agreed. And he went to the extent of calling the family to say, Munikuru Kreko, sorry, Nala kwa.
Eh? What more do you want, you people? Eh? And the people are forgetting, Mr. Moderator. There was your colleague who had his mouth filled with urine. Was that person arrested? And I want to follow this case because I may be always commenting on this issue. Maybe that person is arrested, or maybe he apologized, or what. What transpired? I need some information, please. Because that person was not arrested. Which one is good? Cachasso, in the mouth and urine in the mouth. And then that person who urinated somebody in the mouth was not arrested. So cachasso is something that is nishakuja cachasso. So urine is it chakuja. And that person was not arrested. So and that person did he come to apologize to the nation what he did? Nothing. But here is Mr. Karim Kombo. He apologized what he did. And the people want to crucify him. Imagine, Zambians, where are we? This time what is needed now, how are we going to solve the issue of fuel? Or fuel, Ukraine, Russia, a bag of millennium fertilizer. These are the issues, job creation. These are the things that we want. Constitution. These are the things that we want. International relationship. These are the things that we want. Not these other frivolous things at the expense of solutions. So I'm urging the human rights that you should completely tone down, please. There are other issues what we want, Zambians are interested in. People are complaining, no, we don't have medicine, no, schools have got no desks. Why? Because in this country, instead of debating issues, we are always debating on things that are very irrelevant. Go to other countries, debate. Even Biden, you can even see how Mr. Biden, whenever he's addressing a press conference, he's always giving.
Accommodate 2 more, 3, then we allow Mr. Simukoko to respond. Hello, good morning.
Okay.
Yes, your name and where you are calling us from?
Prudence calling in from Kampala.
Hello?
Prudence, keeping up from Manga.
Okay, you are Prudence Pakamanga. It is antivere. Simukoko, Petrizani.
Simukoko, mukamba kwino. Bona government sekanda. Kivutika swala pamoja, watu walila pomboni. Bona kiboma ya tangio. Basi hii mwananje imo Simukoko. Basi ya siona kwa nini yenda. Mukambi wapanda ma-structures na ground. Mfuko yanga anakuta kumbui kutengenende. Muzona manua kweli. Basi ni moya nurukuno wanene kuno ile yote tunataka kumomba mabudu. Mtu anataka basi hapa kipali kati ya hela kwa wewe kati kunini. So siniwa basi ya nienda kwa pia tunyori. Atuko doje kwa sababu tu pia tukitika kwa. Kwani hii kutinga sasa tutapati wa seneta kwa kukozi akangi wa background mfanyike. So mtako cha kati yangu tu anakujui. Na mbona ni kukozi wa basi simuzilika. So mtuuze baada ya background
zikomo kwambiri time yanu ya Peter. Let kanti kambeko na venango wamene wafuna kushita contribute. Hello, good morning.
Hey, Mr. Golden, good morning.
Mr. Fanwa Mangala, you can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Thank you very much. Golden, in the history of this country, this is the first political party. Within a short period of their stay, 8 months, people all over the country are complaining. When unity came into power, people celebrated. We received our independence. When UPND, when MMD came into power, people celebrated democracy. When PS came into power, people celebrated. There were hospitals where there were no hospitals. There were schools where there were no schools. At least people celebrated. But it's only this political party, 8 months in power. Confidence are all over the country. And we can no longer pretend. Mr. Simukoko is speaking well. And I think the young man must just continue what he's doing. Look, Mr. Garen Kombo has an obsessive personality by virtue of his position as minister and leader. It's like you see, he cannot manage his emotions. As a leader, you're not supposed to behave in the manner that he behaved. That woman is a poor woman, not even having a sympathy for her. So I'm dealing with a very poor person here. As a minister, I think I can do this. There are other measures that I can take, but not this one, Making them even drink. What kind of a minister? What kind of is this person? To say that, he apologized. There are people after committing an offense such as murder. Please, I apologize. But the law says when you commit murder, you have to be executed or you go for life in prison. A law is law. Does not look at apology, no. That thing is clearly stated even in the Bible. So I think, you see, UPND has brought stuff. When people pinpoint these things, they are not actually joking, no. They are not politicking, no. There is pain in our people, the way they are now living. There is pain. They are crying day and night. So I think the leader, our president, I was so disappointed in that press conference because the first issue I expected him to tackle was the high cost of living.
To respond.
Okay, we thank every caller who has managed to participate, Mr. Godwin, on this program. I'm going to start with Mr. Lewis, who said, I have a lot to learn from the president who we are having. For me, yes, I have a lot to learn. I'm not going to restrict my mind that, no, I can't learn, I can't do this. But I can't learn failure. I can't learn failure. Sorry, Mr. Lewis. I can't learn how to fail. I always learn how to succeed. And take precautions on failure. If you want me to start learning about the president, what he's doing, and say, okay, follow his footsteps, you are telling me that increasing the prices of fuel, it is okay. You are then telling me that giving tax holidays and tax exemptions to the foreigners than Zambians is okay. I am not going to learn kudia bokonke nshireyo. Tefyo bankusha ine. Tefyo bankusha. Apart from that, he was talking about population and economics, how it is related. The other population, according to him, the more you have resources. That's wrong. Mr. Lewis, if you are an economist, truly, you agree to me to say there is the law of diminishing returns. The law of diminishing returns states that for every extra addition of labor to a fixed land, there is a reduction in output. Practical sense. If you have 1 acre or hectare of land, and then 20 people from that hectare are producing 100 bags of maize. I'm practical now. 100 bags of maize. It simply means when you increase them by, let's say, 40, the production of maize will reduce to 50. Why? Bantu bapaka bebasebenzera palika area kangono. Bacha bantu bakapaka muzafunika kubalipira masalaries. bantu bakapaka baja muzafunika kubalipira bazafunika kudya. What it simply means, the land of Zambia is fixed. Every additional labor which you add to it will increase the production, yes, but up to a certain level. If you increase excessively, there will be a reduction on the number of outputs you are going to be making. Valewisi, ngati mulina photocopying machine. Your photocopying machine you pay day. Ipanga 20 kwacha profit. Ngati pali bantu babiri. Iyo profit yo mzafuna mulipiremu aba mawakers. And then profit yo mzapanga after kubalipira maybe mwasalamo na 20 ya mene. When you employ other 2 workers, the profit will not increase beyond the 20 kwacha. The profit will remain the same. But you are required to pay a fixed amount. That fixed amount that you are going to be paying Lewis, it simply means yambo chokela pali profit. So is the case with law of diminishing returns. A higher population, yes, is okay, but up to a certain level. If it goes successively beyond, it simply means there is going to be a reduction on the output which you are producing because you have more labor than equipment or technology which you are employing in that output process. Apart from that also, let us come to Mr. Gary Nkombo. Those people who said, don't crucify him, he apologized. I advise this government to go to every police station and make those people apologize, and they shouldn't crucify them, maybe release them. If that is the case. Meaning, alionza kapanga mulandu Mzambia, angachoke because achita apologize. Let us go to other people. Pastor Mutale. Pastor Mutale said, I need to be factual about the economy and free education. We have a trade-off, opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost of free education? What is that? Because of free education, mitengo za vintisfuni kodula, which is not supposed to be the case. I'm trying to be more summario as I could be. Mr. Prudence, I don't know if I got the name correctly, said, if the monthly salary of the president is more than or is 100,000, then it is okay. I can't address the issue of the salary of the president. It is an offense. But to be more precise, Koko. So, irrespective of what we can do as a country, we need to be able to know what we are supposed to do and the things that we need to be implementing. The government has failed. They are not applying the law equally. Apart from that, they have Mr. Fanwe Mwangala said that many people have called. Bakazi vanitava, nikango kula unga. Nagona njala 3 days. Nivazona. Bantu bagona na njala. Bakazi wabatava. Nwandani zangisa tu bakazi wabatava. Niba government
wamena. Is it true that my office bakazi wabatava? Because Mr. Office has been working and is working. Or maybe was just trying to politics.
Simunga kambile ko ba Elvis. Ba Elvis wana bakazi bao. Na imwe maybe muna bakazi bao. Banu. So simunga kambati bakazi vanita baba Elvis. Mwakambati ya invaboza. Anivazona basikambila beka because ntebe niwe bakazi. Bakazi baba Elvis babataba. Benango mzanzira kwati manyumba yaonongeka. Nibandana wanonga manyumba. Niba UPND government wanonga bikwati manyumba. He has said it. For me, I believe what is able to say because according to him ndimwe bakambira bakazi bao babataba. Nabonse bantu bakazi babataba bamuna bao manyumba lero bapaka because one sibagula so kwanisa kugula unga mwenzo gulira bafunika kulipi kugesa bana babene bafunika kugesa bana bao bana ba family na benango. So bakazi abantu bambotaba mu manyumba jikwati vambosira. Government ya mbosiriza jikwati, government ya kwezeka mitengo za unga, government ya kwezeka mitengo za saladi, government ya kwezeka mitengo za zonse zinti zomwe ziri mu manyumba. As a result, bakazi wambo kubataba. Kwenda kuri benango Mr. Godwin as I conclude.
As you conclude, yes.
Yes. All the people who have come here, including those who have said indeed tivutika. Sumuona po bantu batuma pati hai government chitamushe balewe sinje babwira chapati. Nifunika nipunzire kuvevina chitaba ba president bakainde veba chita. Nizapunzira vichani kuri bakainde. Bakwezeka mitengo zao ngani ambo punzira nambo following ama steps. Of course I'm going to learn and know how I can prevent kunama bantu boza because bakainde bananama bantu boza. Bebenzeni mu opposition. Banama bantu bonza babamene bali mu chalo. Sisi banama nizapunzira kunama nikoipa. Sisi banauza bantu ati mitengo za vintu zakachipa vikwati zasiyo onongeka. Nizapunzira ati kunama ni kwa boza because uwe mwenzoza abantu ba president ati vikwati vaonongeka mu PF aba ba office bakazi babo babataba imini ngati na benango bakazi bazabataba bagadi nkombo vyabana chita wrong. There is no law which states that immediately you make a crime you can apologize and the law will be lenient on you omzat mirandu zizasida. Now to be more precise, Mr. Godwin, but abantu bebana mwesa moba Mr. Nkombo didn't know the health of those people. Manenga tumenzi pa medication and then wamwesa moba. It means munkwala bazaononga ene nadwala hapo. Pena dwala banamiza kulibe kumwa moba ngatu mama. By the way, sini mama, but I can't blame those people who take auko. Manje na bankombo ngatu bananipeza nimpa medication. No ni mwesa moba. Ero ni issue kwa doctor banga, banesi banga, bananiuza ati kulibe kumwa moba. It means there will be a distortion in the health of that individual. Bankombo sibanafunse imwe munkumo munkwala uya banafika chabe imwani tientisizale munga bamwakona kumwako bankombo chalo still na mushe vemuchita. But president, you can't say that the minister went there alone. Every minister which the president appoints, that minister carries the image of the president. So inemngati nina minister wanga minister aenda kumenya bantu nishinaine my ideology nukumenya bantu. Ideology of president meaning ngani kumwesa abantu makachaso. Ideology of president meaning ngati mitengo za vintu zifuniko kwera na vikwati vambosira manyumba because a minister is an image carrier for the government.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simukoko.
Mwemukani president because birds of the same feather flock together. Sikomo maningi ba Godwin Pobwera pano na yamika dayamika.
Alright, that does it for today on the Lusaka Star Radio Magazine program, a program which discusses issues affecting our communities. My guest was a Democratic Party member, Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, and we are looking at the presidential speech and other national matters as well. Until next time when we bounce back, shalom shalom, this has been Godwin Lungu.